Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode number 8 of the Stevenage Football Club podcast. Hosted by myself and Borough fan Matt Farley, along with guests of the podcast, discussing everything Borough, everything League Two, every week of the season. Now, it has been a busy week. Borough have had 2 League Two matches, last Saturday at Leyton Orient and last night, as we're sitting here now, against Bradford City. Before we discuss everything Borough and everything League Two to start, I have got my second in command, I like to call him, to be honest. A big welcome back to Borough fan Harley Clark. Welcome back, Harley.
Thanks for having me again. It's a pleasure to always be here.
You're my second in command, mate. It's a bit of a no-brainer.
It's a bit of a given now, isn't it? I'm always going to be here.
It is a bit of a given. I will give you that. No, but it's great to have you back, mate. And we've got a lot to discuss today.
Oh, yes.
A lot to discuss. We'll dive straight in there, mate. So, obviously, we've had 2 matches since the last podcast, which we all knew about. We will start and kick off the podcast today. Borough, we had our 3rd League Two match of the season last Saturday. It was away at Leyton Orient in London. Yep. It was 0-0. We recorded our first point of the League Two season. It's safe to say it was a bit of a Warriors performance.
To say the least.
We'll come into that now. What were your thoughts on our first point last week, Carly, in the 0-0 draw at Leyton Orient?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't really remember much of it because I've been drinking since 9:30 that morning. No, I thought it was quite a good performance from the team. I think Leyton Orient were exactly the same as us in terms of they knew how to play football, just didn't have a final product.
Yeah.
Penalty decision, bit and an iron over it. I can't tell whether or not it was a penalty.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussions over it, isn't there?
Given the Twitter bans the clubs have been having between each other, but I don't think there's much you can say about the performance in terms of how poor we were, because I don't think we were poor.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of defending. Could have won it right at the end.
Yeah, we could have, couldn't we?
Yeah.
No, do you know what? It was a bit of a difficult one because before the match, I was very confident. I thought we were going to get a result. I know that obviously we lost in the League Cup prior to that, but I thought the performance against Exeter was promising. We have to say, though, Scotty Cuthbert and TVC going off was just... you couldn't make it up, could you, with all the injuries we've got. And, Luis Fernandez coming on, he was fantastic, wasn't he? What a performance from him. And him and Keelan Watts at the back, a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old player. Yeah. I do believe that on the day they were the 2 youngest pairing in the top 4 divisions.
Yeah, I think they were
of the game. Probably even 5. But no, do you know what? I thought it was obviously a tough game. When Scotty and TBC went off, I thought, well, this is going to be a backs against the wall job. Yep. It was. I thought the boys defended brilliantly. I thought Fernandez was fantastic, throwing his body in front of everything. So was Watts. And had our moments. Nearly nicked it at the end, didn't we?
Yeah.
With Danny Newton.
Yeah, I don't think it was as good a shot as it looked from our angle of the crowd, or the game, sorry. Because you look at the replays and it doesn't look like it's very far in the corner at all. It's very... so I think good save. Could have won it.
Yeah.
Is what it is. I'm quite happy to take a point away from Leyton Orient. Obviously, we'd like the win, but I think there's a niggling factor of we still haven't scored. I know,
yeah. I think that was the only disappointing thing. But nevertheless, for the boys to play with the team that we had, even Arthur come on, it was almost like a youth team in a way. But I thought the fact that we saw that match off 0-0, got our first point and a clean sheet, and it was great because the whole support was singing the Luis Fernandez song, which was amazing on the underground and back home. And I will say though, something that you alluded to, the penalty decision. I'm quite torn about this. At the start, I was quite like, it was definitely a penalty. And then I've watched it a couple of times and I'm a bit like, actually, I don't know now because he's taken the ball. Because my initial thought, I remember when Leyton Orient viewed the video out and you can see him taking the ball and then he's clashed his heel, but then it looks like Guthrie's gone down before there was any kind of contact. It's a difficult one. I do feel for Guthrie though because he's just not getting the luck at the minute, is he?
No.
But it was a great turnout on the day, a thoroughly enjoyable day, and it was great to get our first point on the season and kind of get that duck off our back. I will read out some of the 3-word analysis that the fans have tweeted in. We do say on the Stevenage Football Club podcast Twitter page of Saturday's away match at Leyton Orient. I will quickly come through the 3-word analysis. So Hartley Borough has said, getting better slowly, which is a pretty good analysis. Callum said, we love Fernandez. Which is quite a good one. Nick, now I had to change the lettering on this because there were some explicitories.
What could possibly have been said?
Yeah, I think we all know what could have been said. But Nick said Luis Fernandez, and I've just put in vodka. Because there was something there. Yeah, I think everyone can work out what that is. Danny Lasby, hey Danny, not here today. Danny said, we worked hard. Very good observation. Jonathan said, keep it going. Cobby, hard-earned point. Tony Fernandez, Luis Fernandez's father, sent us one in. Better to come, which is a good one. Borough really said, skin of teeth. Bulldog Borough, one step forward. Reese Harrison, Fernandez is massive. I love that one. I think that's great.
There's many interpretations to how that one could be.
Literally, there's many, isn't there? Sleep Twitch, it's a bit of a peculiar Twitter one. Said, great defensive display. Billy has said, definitely a penalty. Quite inspiring. Mike Harneman up and running. Reece Donnelly, and I love this one from Reece, I have to say. Absolute Warriors performance. I don't know if it's gone over the top there a little bit. It's certainly
it is Reece, so we'll give him that.
We'll give him that. But no, a really good point. Got us off and running, and I've got to say I was very proud of those players going back Saturday. Yes. And you know what I was really happy with about that match was we were up against it for 80 minutes, I think we can all say that. But then to nearly come back and win it, I think really shows the desire that our team has, even when we're down to the bare bones.
Oh, yes.
I couldn't believe it when Newts nearly scored it. And if someone would have gambled on that shot, Charlie Carter was there to tap it in. It just didn't happen on the day. But yeah, a really good point last week at Leyton Orient. Now, we would play the Dino interview, but again, the signal is just awful. So we're going to have to leave the Dino's post-match interview. But it was just kind of complimenting the team and the efforts and the injuries, of course. So no, a really good point at Leyton Orient, our first of the season. We then came to our match on Tuesday, last night. Now, we played Bradford City.
Yep.
4th League 2 match of the season. Unfortunately, it was another loss, a 1-0 loss.
Undeserved.
Harley, I'm going to come to you about this because I thought the performance last night was fantastic.
I thought we played out of our skins.
And I want to get your thoughts on it. What did you think about last night's game?
So, I thought we played out of our skins. I thought that's probably as best as I'd seen us play since April. Honestly, that was unreal. And it's just the same old thing. We just don't have it in the final third at the moment. We just can't get a shot away. We had 17 shots last night. I think we'd had something like 6 or 7 in the last 3 games in total. I
think it was, yeah. So we've beaten that score just in one match alone, haven't we?
We're slowly getting better. I don't think we deserve to lose. Own goal, don't really know what happened. Own goals happen, you can't do anything about that. Kenner's nearly had a heart attack in the crowd. Kennedy hitting the bar. It was nice to see Kennedy back in the squad.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Do you know, when he hit the bar, I think everyone was like, how have we not got to go in that match, have we?
It was nice to see Byron back as well. And I think to anyone who's had, say, opinions about Byron being in the squad, look what happens the moment he comes back into the team. It's controlled in midfield. We're able to play balls forward. We're actually playing good football. He controls that midfield. He might not play the forward passes all the time, but he knows how to play football. He plays it to the best position player. Like, he was playing it sideways, because you can't always go forward no matter what. Sometimes the simpler pass is better than the forward pass. You've got to remember that. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that. It's how Byron plays football. But on the whole, I don't think anyone did themselves anything wrong. And I think if we'd have scored, great. If we Didn't. I was expecting to lose to Bradford, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no.
I don't think Bradford played particularly well.
No, do you know, I completely agree. I thought it was a fabulous performance. I think, you know, again, with the injury list, and me and my fiancée Amy were sitting in Nando's before, I think I told you this story, and there was Cuthbert, Van Cooten on crutches, Parrott, Nugent, Snoopay, Charlie Carter all sitting in Nando's, and I was saying to Amy prior to the match last night, my God, all of them start nearly, don't they? And it's crazy that they're all sitting there. I thought it was a fantastic performance. Do you know what? I give Dino massive credit. I thought the team he chose was spot on. I really liked the way that he knew that Fernandes and Watts are young boys, and they'd be marking Vaughan, who's played in the Premier League, Clayton Donaldson, who's very expensive, as we know from the York days. And what I loved about what he did is he just pushed Sawes back in between them, a bit of experience just to linchpin them. And I agree with you, Byram in front, again, as you said, he gets a lot of stick, and I thought he played brilliantly. I've got to be honest. And what shocks me a little is people, I woke up to this morning of people's social media and even on the forums saying he didn't have a good game. I thought Byram was brilliant, especially in that first half.
Byram was excellent. He was excellent.
He was distributing the ball. He's tackling. I remember he made those 4 tackles in a row on the main stand on the side.
When you think he hasn't had a pre-season...
No. I think he was injured anyway, wasn't he?
He had his honeymoon as well, so he hasn't even been in the country for that long, really.
I completely agree. I thought it was a fabulous performance. The goal, it's not going our way at the minute, is it? I mean, he's gone to head the balls out Sawes in. He's accidentally hit him on the head and got in the goal. I will say this. I watched the highlights back last night and this morning. I don't know how Danny Newton's header didn't go in. I don't know how that didn't go in. It was a great ball from Stokes, great football from the team, and he's done everything right. He's headed it down in the wet grass, he's headed it in the corner, and I don't know how the goalkeeper has pulled that off. Again,
no fair play to the keeper either.
Great save, great header from Danny. I don't know how he didn't score. And Ben Kennedy, again, I don't know how that hasn't gone in. If it's 2 inches lower, 3 inches lower, it goes in. It hits the underside of the bar, just goes in. Do you know what? I thought we were so unlucky. We definitely deserved the point. I really felt for the players because in my opinion, I thought that collectively so far was our best performance of the season.
100%.
Today, wasn't it?
100%.
And I really, really felt for the players last night. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Even though we lost, I was like, you know what, there's a lot of positives we take from this. You know, with the matches that we've got upcoming. I like to think that from Salford's, every match there's been a 10% improvement. I like to think there's been a...
I like
that. Do you agree as well?
Yes, 100%.
That there's been and if you say, right, last night was a 10% improvement from Leyton Orient, if we can have another 10% improvement at Mansfield, I'd like to think we'd get a result for sure, and Macclesfield. So, yeah, it was really good. I give credit to Dino. We do have to mention, though, very happy that Rollinson got on for his debut.
Yeah, I thought Rollinson played all right.
Very happy that 17-year-old Jack Smith got on.
I was a little surprised at that, though. I know Byron's only just come back, but...
I didn't know if he went off injured again or if he just took him off. I don't
know.
I
just think he came off.
Maybe he was too tired or...
Let's say first game back, you don't want to rush him back, do you, really? And
True, yeah.
It's not worth it.
But Jack Smith, we have to give him a shout out. My fiance cuts his mum's hair. Yeah, this is a God's honest true story. And I think it's Joanna. Sorry, no, it is Joanne. Sorry, I do get awful with names. And Joanne we've been seeing since the pre-season period, and she's been telling us about Jack and how he's been looked after by Ben Nugent and Ben Kennedy. And I remember Amy said to me last night at the match, do you think Jack will get on? And my instant reply was, no, I don't, because I think I wouldn't thought it was the type of match to bring him on.
I thought he was just there to make up numbers on the bench.
Yeah. I thought if he's going to bring anyone on, he'll bring Arthur on, because Arthur's, used to play. And I couldn't believe it when I saw him. I think Jack's number's 23. He got up and I heard Dino shout to him, and I said to Amy, oh my God, Jack, he's coming on. He's bringing Jack on. If you look at the team now, there's Fernandes, Jack Smith, Rollinson. They've all had their debuts as young players. Luther's at his first season as a pro. Got a lot of young boys there now that have had their football. Arthur, that have had their football league experience. That has to get a shout out. But no, look, it was a brilliant performance. Thoroughly enjoyed the performance. I'm very gutted that we left. It has left us 22nd with 1 point on the board. Any worries that we're peeling away from that pack or
no? It's 4 games. 4 games. 10 or 12 games, yeah, if we're still down there, yeah, then there's obviously an issue, but I think we've had probably one of the hardest starts in the league for any team.
That's it, though. I remember the first podcast we did. Do you remember when the fixture list come out?
Yep.
And me and you said, "It's a tough start, isn't it? We take a point per game." Do you remember that?
Yep.
So no, I will quickly read out again the 3-word analysis that was tweeted on the Stevenage Football Club podcast Twitter page. Please go and follow us if you haven't followed us already. 3-word analysis for last night's match. Craig Keenan said, "Luck will change." We agree with you, Craig. Nate said, "We can't score." That's well, I mean, he's got a point.
He's got a point.
Crawford said, "Improvement is evident." Like that one. Hartley Borough, last pass missing. It's an interesting one because I thought we created the chances, but.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. We aren't scoring, so we aren't really making the chances, are we?
I do agree. Patrick Jackson, defensive system suspect. Lock 13, third from bottom. That's brutal. Borough Realist, bloody great performance. Nick, farm and punch it. That's an interesting one.
He did punch it quite a bit.
He punched it quite a bit. I heard a couple of people last night saying maybe you could have come out for a few more crosses, but it's difficult when you've got big centre forwards in there, and Reece Donnelly, so frustrating.
Yeah,
same as all of us, Reece. Ian Cole's getting better slowly. Mike Harneman, patience is key, and Matt sent in saying best since April. I have to agree with that.
I think they're all right on their own.
I think they're a very good 3-word analysis. Thank you ever so much for the 3-word analysis tweeted in and sent in for last Saturday's match against Leyton Orient and last night's match against Bradford. We do thank anyone that sent us in. But yeah, I mean, 1 point, 22nd place. We will move on because that is the past, and we've got matches coming up in the future. As we're sitting here now, we do have our 5th League 2 match of the season on Saturday. We're away at Mansfield. We know this place very well, don't we?
Yes,
Mansfield
we do.
away. Obviously, Mansfield losing last night to Leyton Orient 3-2. It's probably a good time to play there this Saturday.
Yeah.
But a massive game for our boys. We will just quickly come on to this before we get into the team selection. What are your thoughts on the match on Saturday at Mansfield? Big game for us, isn't it, to get a result?
Yeah, I think every game at the moment for us is a big game because obviously points-wise we're not doing fantastically. Mm-hmm. But if we get a draw there, I'll be happy. If we play like we did last night, I think we will get a result.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any doubt in that. Unfortunately, I can't make the game this weekend because of prior commitments, so it's a bit. Are we getting notifications coming through on my phone? And
pretty sure you could get all 3 counties up with Steve Watkins and Dino.
Might
they're
have
listening
to
this.
Might have to. Yeah, but I think Mansfield's a very tough game for me to predict because it's Mansfield are the team that you always expect to be up right at the top, and we're always a team that you expect to be right in the middle of the pack. Like edging for playoffs, but never really getting it. But we always seem to do well against them. Always seem to get a result. Yeah, especially when they're playing badly. That's when you want to
It's surprising because our form there isn't that bad. If you actually, you can go back to the conference days. I know we lost there one year, but I remember we won 3-2. If you actually look at the wins, we won there a few seasons ago. We won last season. We've actually got a decent record.
Yeah, we do,
haven't we? For me, I think it's.
Excuse me.
That's no problem. It's a tough match, obviously. But do you know what? I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how the team play. I believe if Dino and sets up the team the same as he did last night and the players play with that intensity that we finished the match, I do think we'll get at least a point. I know it sounds quite funny, but I fancy us to actually win the match. I know it sounds weird, but I think we've got this mental hold over Mansfield after last season. I think we can win there again. Wouldn't it be funny if we, ended our season last season with a win and started our season there this season with a win?
Well, we ended their automatics, really, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, really.
Because they had to beat Milton Keynes. And if it weren't for us, they would have been in the.
They would have been there, wouldn't they?
They would have been
there. The way I see it, a point, it puts us on 2 points. It gives us that platform, but a win. 4 points,
massive.
4 points on 5 matches. All right, it's 4 points for 15, but it gives us that kind of stability and cushion there
when you
from
get
the
winning,
bottom 2, isn't it?
When you get used to winning, it's a good feeling.
I will say this about the team as well, and I think I made this point to you earlier. I tend to look at teams. When teams are losing, I always look at the performance. If a team's losing matches and they're playing poorly, there's a real big problem, because if you're not even playing well in those matches and you're losing, something's wrong. But with our team, take away Salford, we're losing matches, but we're competitive.
Yeah, we're not playing well. We're not playing badly, are we? Like if you go by last night, that's a side who's fighting for automatics, playing like that. You know, it's like, I agree with you 100% on that. But I do also see it's very difficult if you're playing well and you're still not getting results. Then what needs to change? Because I think the same thing happened to us with Darren Sol. We played fantastic football, and then we lost 7-1 to Luton. And I don't think Luton were particularly amazing that game. We just didn't play very well.
Something wrong. Yeah. It's an interesting point. I'd like to think, because we're playing well and all right, we're losing, I'd like to think that these results will turn around. And when they turn around, with the good performances we've seen, obviously last night, I really think we'll go on a little run in the winter time. I really do believe that. But it's a tough match. Look, again, we take a point, but those 4 points, they're still with Macclesfield to play at the end of the month. It would be massive to get a win, wouldn't it? It really would
be major.
And I think it would change the team's confidence and everything to go along with that. We will go through the team selections that we have chosen, what we feel the team selection. Now, I do think our team is it's
exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. But we will go through them nevertheless. Harley, I want you to talk us through your team, and I want you to tell us why you think that team should play on Saturday.
So I think it's a given. Farman in goal. Again, every week he's going to be my first choice keeper, so I don't think there's any explanation needed for him. Luther and Stokes as the wing backs. Again, I don't think there needs to be an explanation, because we don't actually have any other wing backs at the moment, because everyone's are injured.
I will say this, sorry, but I thought Stokes was brilliant last night.
Yes, he was.
Those balls into the box, that ball that he put in for Danny Newton's header that should have gone in, I thought he was excellent. He's really excelled, isn't he?
To anyone who has said that they prefer him as a centre-back, I think last night proved that he's very good at a left-back position as well.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So carrying on, I've got Watson, Fernandez as my centre-halves, because they've just been excellent. They have been excellent since they've come back in.
Louis Fernandez. Sorry, I had to get that in there. Sorry, no. Sorry, I had to get that in there.
And so, to have your own chant after 2 games says something about him.
That is pretty special. He's 17 years old, and I tweeted Louis Fernandez. Louis, if you're listening, mate, absolute pleasure to see you play the last 3 matches. But to see him come on, and he's a product of our football club, and to see him play like that at Leyton Orient, and I'm not being funny, he marked Clayton Donaldson out the game last night. He didn't get a kick, Donaldson, did he? What a player! What an asset to have at our club. You know, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So then, sort of just sitting in front of the centre halves, but floating in between the centre halves at the same time.
Yeah.
I've got Tom Sawers. Again, we haven't got a massive selection of players we can play there. Ironton, but I don't think he's ready to be playing every single game of the season yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then just in front of them, I've got Hussein and Byram, because I think they played out their skins last night. I thought they were excellent. Now, I've got one change in the team. Kennedy.
Yeah, really. And I'm guessing that is for Taylor?
For Paul Taylor.
Okay, explain.
I don't think Paul Taylor's played badly at all, so it's not a knock on him, but I just think with Parrott missing, I think we're missing that creative spark. And when Kennedy came on last night, I thought he was unreal.
Yeah.
I thought he played excellent.
He looked like the old Kennedy.
Yes.
In my opinion. And I remember when we said this about Ben, I think it was our very first podcast when we saw the players retained. If he just gets his head down and he works for really half the club, I think he's got a massive place at this club still. And I think we saw that last night, didn't we?
A lot of people don't obviously like him for a lot of reasons, given the situation of last season. But you've got to learn and forgive, and I think he's also realised what he's got at Stevenage. He's got a lot here, and like a lot of people do highly rate him here. He needs to, like I say, get his head down, and then because he could be one of, if not the best players in League Two, and could go and play higher. Look at what happened to Matt Godden. He's gone. Look at Ben Wilmot.
Yeah.
You know, we're that platform for you to get into a higher league. Whether that's with us or another club, that's a different story.
Do you know what I love about him? I love this about Ben. Absolutely love it about him. His attitude. Because when he gets on that pitch, all right, he's not the oldest player there.
No.
I like to think he's quite experienced now, considering the matches he's played.
23?
He's early 20s, yeah. I think he 21, 22, 23. But he has this, probably from the area he's from in Ireland, you know, a tough area he's grown up in. But I love this real raw, not nasty attitude, but a hard attitude.
He's got hunger to be on the ball.
He's hungry. He's not scared.
He's not afraid to put in a challenge either.
No, it's a really good choice. Who have you got other than Kenners up there?
Guthrie and Newton.
Yep.
I thought they played really well last night. I think we had a Stonewall penalty last night. We should have had.
Guthrie again. What is going on with this?
Referees don't like us. I think that's been known since we've ever come into the Football League.
I said this to someone yesterday. Guthrie got pulled over in the box against Southend. Whether the penalty was at Leighton or in a penalty or not, and last night he's had 3 shouts in a row, isn't he?
Yeah, 3 shouts in a row and all dismissed against him.
I don't know what's going on with referees and Curtis. And Danny Newton, yeah, good. I thought he played well last night. What did you think?
Yeah, I just think he was very unlucky with the header. The header done absolutely everything right, like you said earlier. Don't know how the keeper got a touch on it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Really good team there, Harley. I'm going to read my team selection, what I feel should play this Saturday at Mansfield. It is literally exactly the
same team.
I'm going to explain why. Yeah, Paul Farmley goal, no brainer. Luther, Louis Fernandez, Source, Watson, Stokes. Luther's been great. Fernandez has been brilliant for 17-year-old to come in and inject his quality at such a young age. What a big player.
100%.
Really like Dino's point of Source. I actually think Source played better there than he did further up the pitch. Watts, he's been excellent since he's come in. I thought he was great on Saturday. You
can see the Premier League quality in him.
Yeah, and what I like about Watts is because he's played the England under-20s, he's good level of football. He's a good footballer, isn't he?
Yeah, that's still high level Championship quality football, because it's all well and good playing Premier League too, but you're playing against people the same age as you. I know you are with the under-20s, but you've got players who have played for Real Madrid at that age, for Spain, people who played for Barcelona for Spain in the under-20s World Cup and all that. So he's playing against high-level opposition, so like people like Danny Ceballos, obviously for Arsenal. I think, Pogba's played at the under-20 levels for France, and it's high-level football, and he's showing me that he's got the class to be
of that
kind of calibre when he's older.
I like the fact he's very tall as well.
We've never had a tall centre-back.
No, he's left-footed. Obviously, he plays off both feet, but he's left-footed. I think he's a really good defender, and I'm very happy to have him at the club. I think he'll fill in there very nicely. Left wing-back, Stokes. Again, I thought he was brilliant last night. I thought some of those crosses in the box. Do you know what? It's really weird with Stokes, but he does give a lot of energy down that left side of the pitch, doesn't he? So Stokes, no brainer. Yeah, my midfield, I've gone Noor Hussin. I thought he was really good last night. With Joel Byram, again, I thought Joel was really good last night. He really distributed the ball. Them two for me in the middle. In front of them two, I've gone exactly the same as you. I've gone for Ben Kennedy over Paul Taylor. Points that you made earlier. Kenners, I really think he's got a big place at our club. And, let's not forget, he's a big talent. I think he's one of our best players at Borough. And to see him back
you can't deny talent.
You can't, can you?
You look at players like, I know it's a different story, but you look at players like Berahino and Ravel Morrison. They've clearly got unbelievable levels of talent, and there's a reason why they're still in football today. I know Berahino's obviously got the issues where he hasn't actually got a club anymore. But Ravel Morrison's just signed for Sheffield United. He's back in the Premier League.
Yeah, he did, didn't he, the other day. But I just love Ben. And for me, I like Paul Taylor, but I think we saw last night when Kenners came on, he had more of an impact. He was interconnecting play. Obviously, that brilliant strike hit on the bar. I don't know how that didn't go. So I would start Ben, and I think Paul Taylor would be better off the bench, like we saw at Salford. I think
because he's a bundle of energy.
Yeah, bundle of energy. My two up top, Curtis Guthrie and Danny Newton, no brainer. I do feel for Curtis at the minute of all these penalty stuff that he's having. And Newt did everything right with that header last night. I don't know how it didn't go in. I think that team is good enough to even win on Saturday. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I do as well.
it's going to be a tough match. I don't know who we've got for referee yet because that hasn't been announced. But it's going to be difficult. And I think, again, as we've said, a point would be an excellent result if we could nick a win. Then it really does set us up for finishing August with an okay accumulation of points. But really good to go through the teams. I think that's the first podcast we've done with the same team selection.
Yeah, I think it is.
As well, isn't it, with me and you? So, no, really, really good to go through the two teams. Now, obviously, on the podcast day, we are not doing Harley and Farley's Disagreement Corner. As I said last week, that is a feature that will be featuring every couple of weeks. So, it will be back next week. So, I am very sorry for listeners, if you were looking forward to it, that it will be back next week and we will have brilliant debates next week over something. Hopefully we get Joe back and the originals back and they can join in. So we will move on to the League 2 roundup section. Now, this is a section where we go through everything League 2 in Borough's division. Now, there has been obviously 2 sets of fixtures and results.
Yep.
Now, obviously last Saturday, again, we weren't the only match. There was other matches in the division. Some interesting results, I must say.
Yeah, big time.
I'm going to quickly go through these results and we're going to pick out ones that are surprising or ones that we, thought were going to happen anyway. I'll quickly run through them now. This was last Saturday's League 2 results. We had Bradford 3, Oldham 0, Carlisle 0, Mansfield 2, Colchester 1, Cambridge 2, Crewe 1, Walsall 0, Exeter 1, Swindon 1, very good game that one, Forest Green 1, Grimsby 0, Leyton Orient 0, Borough 0, Morecambe 0, Cheltenham 0, Newport 1, Plymouth 0. That was a surprising one, wasn't it? Northampton 1, Macclesfield 2, Salford 1, Port Vale 1, and Scunthorpe 2, Crawley 2. Now, are there any games in there that surprise you a little bit?
Newport. The Colchester game.
Yeah, very good points out.
I was surprised Forest Green beat Grimsby because Grimsby have been playing really well.
Do you know what? I've really said that I think Grimsby are going to have a good season this season.
Yeah, they will.
And, losing at Forest Green, that looks like a tough place to go, doesn't it? And we've got them in September, haven't we?
Yeah, I think the vegans are going to make that. No, I'm really bad with nicknames, and that's only how I know them.
The vegans. Well, they are in a way, aren't they? Because,
they will make their home ground a fortress because they're very good at home and they play good football as well.
I completely agree. I think there's a bit of a fortress there. That'll be tough there in September. Newport Plymouth 1-0 Newport. Now, obviously Plymouth's first loss of the season. I know Newport's a tough place to go.
I thought there would have been more goals, if anything.
Yeah, and I do believe that goal was in the last 5 minutes of the match. So, that was a bit of a surprise. I thought Plymouth would get a draw there. Salford drawing 1-1 with Port Vale. Port Vale have started well, haven't they?
Port Vale have started very well.
Obviously Tom Pope, and they've got David Amu as well.
Yeah,
he's a very good player. I would have actually fancied him down at Borough, but David Amu from Cambridge. Morecambe, again, 0-0. Cheltenham, they're getting results, aren't they, Morecambe?
Yeah, Morecambe are doing all right.
It was a very, very good kind of day of results, if you'd like to say. But no, I think one thing that I take is the league's very competitive, isn't it? One week the top teams are winning, next week the bottom teams are winning.
Oh, yeah.
Very interesting. Now, obviously, again, last night we weren't the only match in the division. All the other games in League 2 were played. I'll quickly run through the results in last night's round of League 2 matches. They were Cambridge 3, Scunthorpe 2, Cheltenham 2, Carlisle 0, Crawley 1, Crewe 2, Grimsby 2, Colchester 2, Macclesfield 0, Morecambe 1. Doing it again. Mansfield 2, Leyton Orient 3.
That's a big result.
That, I heard, was a 96th minute winner. What a cracking game. Mansfield were 2-0 up, weren't they? So that's good for us on Saturday. Oldham 0, Exeter 0, Plymouth 2, Salford 2, Port Vale 2, Forest Green 1. Obviously Borough 0, Bradford 1, Swindon 0, Northampton 1, and Walsall 0, Newport 0. So
I don't think there's any surprising results in there bar the Mansfield game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I think I didn't expect Leyton Orient to go there and win, I've got to be honest.
I think I put Mansfield to win 2-1.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair play to Leyton Orient, because if we've managed to get a draw from them at their home ground, Yeah, I think we've got a good chance of getting a result against them when they come to us.
No, I completely agree. And, other results there. Plymouth drawing 2-2 with Salford. That's, again, Plymouth have had a little blip the last couple of matches, haven't they?
Big time.
Started really well. There was a big kind of thing about Plymouth, and then they've slipped up their last 2 games. We do have to mention it again. Morecambe winning 1-0. I mean, they've had a brilliant start, Morecambe. They've beaten Mansfield twice. One in the League Cup, one in the league.
Yeah.
I should say drawn at Mansfield and then beaten them in the League Cup. Drew on Saturday, won last night. I mean, do you think this is going to last for Morecambe this season?
I've got no idea. I've got really no idea, because I was expecting Morecambe to start not poorly, but a couple of draws, a couple of losses. You know, a Morecambe start. It's very hard to predict Morecambe, because everyone puts them to go down every year. Yet somehow they manage to put out results right at the end and get by.
Yeah, I completely agree there. It always seems Morecambe. I mean, good start though. However, Morecambe. I mean, where are they in the league table? I do believe they are 17th. So, I mean, it's not up the top, but it's better than what they'd normally start.
Normally, Morecambe would be down in 21st, 22nd.
With the same amount of points we've got, full enough, isn't it? But other games, Northampton winning at Swindon. That is a great win. Northampton haven't started the greatest this season. Swindon have. Swindon were top before the match. That is a big win. But there was big controversy over this goal. I watched the highlights last night after our match, and the goal he was well offside.
Oh.
He was miles offside.
Oh.
And there was a massive thing about it at the game where there was a big argument. It went on for about 5 minutes after the goal. Great finish, but he was about a metre offside. I don't know how the linesman didn't give it.
Well, I think that proves it then, because if that's the case, then refereeing and the officials at this level need to be looked at. You know, the FA and the EFL. The EFL don't care. They never have. But when you're making decisions like that, forget like Curtis Guthrie penalty decisions and all that. If you can't keep up with play, and he's a metre offside, you have seriously got to be looking at yourself and thinking, "Oh, am I fit to do this job?"
Yeah, it's not right.
Because you don't see this in the Premier League. I know they have VAR, which will help, and obviously all that. But before that, you didn't see this in the Premier League. If it was offside, they'd be offside by about a couple of inches if they were given offside, or if it was offside but it wasn't. There'd only be a couple of inches on. So they've got the very fine margins of being on and offside. Whereas in League 2 and League 1, you're seeing players who are just sitting in front of the defence, then being allowed to play through.
It is a bit surprising, because when you watch it back, that goal, you can see from the television angle he's offside. I don't know how they haven't seen it. Again, I don't know if the linesman went up with play or if he got caught looking at the ball and not the back line. I don't really know what happened.
You shouldn't look at the ball. You should always look at the back line.
Again, we don't know what's happened with it, but it was it was offside, and there was big controversy. But nevertheless, a big win there, because Swindon obviously started well. Another game I'm going to pick out, Cheltenham winning again, 2-0 at home. They've up the top. I mean, Cheltenham are 5th. I mean, they've started well. Again, we've got them soon. But no, some really interesting results there. Really interesting how they've kind of panned out over the 2 matches over 4 days. I will quickly go into the league table as it stands before our big match in our 5th league game this week at Mansfield. I'll start from the bottom. 24th currently Scunthorpe with 1 point still.
That's very surprising for me. I thought they would have been top 10.
Yeah, I mean, League 1 team coming down. They've got Lee Novak as well playing for them, top big player there. 23rd place with 1 point is also Oldham Athletic, getting their first point against Exeter last night. Again, not started well, Oldham, have they?
No.
Then it is Borough. It is us in 22nd place with 1 point.
We all know how that's
panned out. We need a first point or a win this week, boys. 21st place with 2 points, Colchester United. 20th place with 3 points, Carlisle, and 19th place with 4 points in Northampton. So all very tight down the bottom still, doesn't it? It goes to 3-2 to 3 1 point teams, obviously including us. Top of the table now. This is very interesting. Currently first place with 9 points, Crewe Alexandra.
Yeah, they've had a very good start.
Do you remember in the build-up to our opening match at Salford, we spoke about their pre-season, didn't we? They were thrashing teams crew, weren't they?
Yeah.
So top of the league with 9 points, very good crew, and they've also lost the game crew as well. I have to throw in there. Second place with 8 points is currently Bradford City, obviously from unfortunately losing to them last night. Third place, a bit of a surprising one this one, with 8 points, Cambridge United. They're up there, turn things around.
They've got results at the end of the day, so that's why they're up there.
Yeah, 2 draws, 2 wins there. Exeter City in fourth, with 8 points. Fifth place, Cheltenham Town with 7 points. Sixth, Plymouth Argyle with 7 points. Seventh with 7 points also is Swindon Town, and eighth place also with 7 points is Forest Green Rovers. So again, it's very tight up the top. Even if you want to go to 9th, 7 points, and 10th, 6 points for Macclesfield, it's a very close division at the minute. Seems to me that any one of those teams, if you can win a couple of games, it'll shoot you right up the league, including us, won't it? So no, really, really good to go through the League 2 results and league table. Now, the interesting things, the League 2 fixtures prediction competition. Now we must come, and I will say it because it is a bit of a mouthful, and I do enjoy saying it every week. The Stevenage Football Club podcast League 2 fixtures prediction competition. It has to get changed, but we will go with that in a minute. Now this is our League 2 fixtures prediction competition. How it works: supporters, anyone can get involved with it. You predict the League 2 matches. After, there is a point system. You get 3 points for correct prediction, 2 points for half a prediction correct. So if you get one team's goal score line, there are no points for wrong prediction, and you always get a bonus point on if you get a prediction with Borough correct. So if you get Borough's prediction correct, that would be 4 points. If you get Borough's prediction correct on half a prediction, then you will get 3 points. So it's a very simple point system. Now, obviously, we've been going for 4 predictions on the podcast. Now, it is very, very exciting, I have to admit. This is something that, do you know what? After the League 2 match, I always used to do my bets and look forward to them for that reason, but I look forward to it for this reason now.
I'm really enjoying the league at the moment.
You will find out, everyone, and this is to the listeners, why Harley's enjoying it so much. He's going to be gloating this because he has gloated it for the last week. Now, from our last podcast, I did read out the league table and explain that we did have 2 matches, and I would read out the league table for after the 2 matches, from Leyton Orient to Bradford City. Now, we have had 2 weeks, and the league table has been fantastic, I have to admit. We have got more players. We've got 12 now, when last week I do believe we had 8, which is
four more is always
going up in the world, which is good. Now, the league table at the minute stands in 12th position with 12 points. Is Charlie Vaughan. So Charlie joined...
must have joined last week.
Yeah, he joined day before last night's match. Charlie's there on 12 points. Currently in 11th place, we have with 14 points.
Say this loudly.
I think we should say this with a bit of authority. In 11th place with 14 points, Reece Donnelly.
You're not very good at the predictions, mate, are you?
Reece, we are very happy to see you down there, mate.
Can't wait for the prize. It's going to get being worse.
It's going to be brilliant. Trust me, if he does come bottom, it'll be a fantastic prize.
Really excellent.
In 10th place with 24 points is Joe. Joe's gone up in the table, doing very well.
Going up in the world.
And let me tell you, Joe got the highest points last night, 16. So Joe did very well there. In 9th place, 24 points also is Mark Slater. In 8th place with 25 points, in front by 1 point, is Ollie Long. So Ollie's improved.
Well done, Ollie.
In 7th place with 37 points, doing very well, is James Walker.
Well done, James.
6th place also with 37 points, just getting in front of there, James, just on level points off of me, but had a better week, is Hartley Borough. Well done, Hartley, with 37 points. In 5th place with 42 points, this is where it gets interesting, is the mighty Danny Lasby.
Hey.
Cushioned right in the middle of there. In 4th place, 4 points ahead with 46 points, is Matt Farley.
Well done, Matt.
Thank you very much. Do you know what?
Top 4.
Do you know what? Top 4. I'm in with a shout of a top 3 finish.
What would you say? What would it be? The top 4 teams.
Yeah.
When it comes to the playoffs, the top 4 have like a playoff competition. So one team will go against each other, and then the other team will go against the other person, and then it gets into the final. When the final,
I've got to be honest. There have been discussions discussions
about
really almost a playoff competition and also a third and fourth playoff kind of thing, but the best loser prize as well. So, it's interesting you say that. Very good idea, but yeah, there has been discussions. I do believe Joe mentioned something.
He may have.
Right, top three. This is where it gets interesting. In third place with 53 points is Aidan Cheevers.
Well done, Aidan.
Really well done, Aidan. Top two.
He's been very consistently up there, hasn't he?
He has, Aidan, and he didn't do the greatest on Saturday, but then he got a good 14 points last night, so he really redeemed himself. I actually caught him up by 8 points, and then he's pulled away again. Top two, this is where it gets interesting. Second place with 58 points, Patrick Jackson. He's been up there since the start. Well done, Patrick.
Patrick's been very good.
And in first place at the minute, 4 points ahead on 62 points, is Harley Clark.
It's an honour. I'm proud to be top of the table.
Eating humble pie at the minute, I got to be honest.
No, I don't want to sound like I'm big-headed. I've just got very lucky with my results.
As you say, Harley. But no, fair play, Harley.
Thank you very much.
Do you see yourself holding this out at the minute?
At the moment, yeah, I've got. You've only got to think positive.
True. Do you know, I will give you that. When I did the league table last Saturday and I saw that you overtake, I thought, oh my God, he's in the league. And I thought, he might slip up Tuesday. And then you got 13 points and I thought, wow, he's done well there.
Yeah, I say, because I was saying to you earlier, I think if I can consistently hit anything between the 11 and 16 point mark, then I've got a good chance of staying up there.
True. And what you do really well is you get half predictions right.
Yes.
And they always do 2, 4. And then before I know it, you've got 10 points already. It's like, God, he's 10. Me, I'm good with the half, but I don't get enough of them, and I think that's where I struggle. Now, the League 2 fixtures prediction competition is a competition for every fan, so for all the listeners listening at the minute. Please get involved. It's a brilliant competition. It's been fantastic at the minute. If you want to get involved, I will be tweeting on the Stevenage Football Club podcast Twitter page. The fixtures, send all the fixtures back. I will be doing it on our Facebook page as well. Sorry, please go and like and follow us on both pages. I'll even be putting stuff out on the forums as well. Maybe even Borough Chat, we'll see.
Now you're risking it.
No, there's only going to be sarcasm. I think, come back to that. But please get involved. There will be prizes, and as Harley said, a competition for top 4, and there will be a prize for the worst loser as well at the end of the season. So please get involved. It's really exciting. And honestly, for anyone that hasn't got involved yet, I really look forward, not just to see the League 2 results and how it affects Borough, but I actually really look forward to seeing how they are to link them to the competition. So for anyone out there, please get involved. It is fantastic. Now, moving on to our last bit of the League 2 roundup. Now, obviously, again, we are not the only fixture this Saturday. Now, for the League 2 fixtures prediction, we have got our predictions this week.
We do.
Again, just to come back to that, tomorrow night I will be tweeting and Facebooking out the fixtures. So again, get involved. Now, Harley, we're going to do your predictions first of this Saturday. Take us through your games, and then we'll come on to mine after.
Right. So in alphabetical order, I'm going Bradford 2, Forest Green 1, Cambridge 2, Oldham 0, Carlisle 1, Salford 1, Cheltenham 1, Swindon 2, Colchester 1, Northampton 0, Grimsby 1, Port Vale 0, Leyton Orient and Crawley 1-1. I put Macclesfield to beat Scunthorpe 2-1 because I think Scunthorpe are going to struggle now. Mansfield and Borough, I've put 1-1.
Oh, you're going for 1-1.
Yeah.
Take that though.
Yeah, 100%.
Very big point.
I've got Morecambe and Exeter to finish 1-1. Newport 2, Crewe 0. Because I don't think Crewe are going to hold that lead.
It's difficult in League 2 early, isn't it? We've been up there before. Last game.
And then Plymouth 2, Walsall 0.
Oh, I've got to be honest there, Harley. Really good predictions. Not loads of goals.
No.
2s and 1s, it looks like there. But I
think it's very close. Again, I think every result this week could go either way.
And really, do you know what? At the start of the season, League 2's always 1 week you get loads, next week you get none. Last night there were quite a few goals. You watch Saturday, there'll be hardly none. So do you know what? I backed those predictions. Really, really good at predictions. So Harley's done his predictions for the fixtures prediction competition on Saturday. My predictions. I'm going to start with the Borough game, as I always do every week. Now I am going to go. It's a bit of a difficult one, and there's many avenues, but I am going to go for Mansfield 1, Borough 2.
Yeah.
I was very close to doing 1-1, very similar to yourself. But I have a feeling we might nick that on Saturday with the good football we played last night if we can take those good things in. My games are Bradford 2, Forest Green 1, Carlisle 1, Salford 0, Cheltenham 1, Swindon 1, Colchester 0, Northampton 2, Grimsby 2, Port Vale 2, Leyton Orient 3, Crawley 1, Macclesfield 0, Scunthorpe 0, Morecambe 1, Exeter 3, Newport 1, Crewe 1, and Plymouth 2, Walsall 1.
Oh.
So I've added in a few goals.
You say you got a couple more goals than me, but results-wise, is it not majorly different?
Not majorly different, and I've got to be honest, if you get that lead in the league table, all you have to do is keep it very similar, then it's... it's you can always make up those points and others. So those are mine and Harley's predictions. Again, I will tweet out on Facebook. Please get involved. It would be brilliant to get as many people on that fixture prediction competition as possible. Just before we move on to the fans Q&A, any games there that you think are going to be cracking games or are going to be ones that stand out?
To be honest with you, I don't think there are. I think all the games this week are very level in terms of playing ability. I don't want to sound like being boring or anything, but I don't really see any games that do stand out. It's not like it's not like a Newport Plymouth where results could go either way and there could be a few goals. But no, I think nothing stands out really. I think if anything, like I say, any game could go either way.
Quite even matches on Saturday. I will say this, I am interested to see how Macclesfield and Scunthorpe do, because Macclesfield lost the other night, and I know, obviously we have to mention this, managing Macclesfield is Davil McMahon, ex-Borough player, so it'll be great to see him back at the Lamix, actually. I can't remember the last time he was back, over 10 years ago. What a player he was. Again, I'm interested, Newport and Crewe's a cracking game, because Crewe are top, Newport are up there as well. Should be a good game.
Yeah, but I don't think there'll be that many goals in it.
No, there never is with those. I tend to find those tough games are normally always draws or 1 or 2 goals. Really interesting. And also, well, there is a team that I'm interested in seeing. Carlisle Salford. Carlisle haven't started brilliantly, so I'm interested to see how they play against Salford. But no, really, really good fixture list there. Again, we will update the league table this time next week for the fixture prediction competition, but hopefully we get more players. That would be great. What was that, sorry?
No, don't.
Oh, sorry. I know what you were saying. Okay, now we will move on to the questions and answers bit of the podcast. Now, we've been going 52 minutes, which is...
It's good.
Quite good for me and you. It's been going quite good today.
Given we've been let down by 2 people.
Joe's let us down tonight big time. He said he'd come and do the podcast, but...
Bloody trains.
Those trains, honestly. Joe, we are disappointed. Come on, Joe. Next week, I feel like we should get Joe his own feature.
100%.
I don't know what it could be anything. I know what feature it's going to be as well. But I would like... Joe did a really good thing last week where Joe brought up a lone player at Morecambe. So I'm going to give Joe his own little... feature where he tells us all these new players in new teams. I think it'd be good to Joe to give him a hobby.
Oh, give him something to think about.
And channel Joe there. I really do believe so.
Joe, you've got a new job, all right?
Joe's got a job on the podcast. Also, we're missing Danny tonight. Danny's not here. I like to call Danny the Talk Sport presenter because he reads these fixtures out in a Talk Sport manner. So we are missing Danny. But we will come into our Q&A section. This is a chance for the supporters to put their questions to the panel and for their voice to be heard and for us to answer your questions. Now, we have got a lot tonight.
We do.
I do believe we have got about 6 questions, which is actually quite nice for the two of us because with Joe it'd be 2 each, with me and you it'd be 3 each. So we're going to go through these questions. First question I'm going to give to you, Harley, as always. This question is from Aidan Cheevers. Hi, Aidan.
That's it. From Aidan, always.
Third in the prediction competition, I must say. Aidan has asked, when it comes to our lack of goals this season, is it bad luck, lack of confidence, or something else?
I think it's a mix of a few things. I think it's lack of confidence, bad luck, poor officiating. I don't think you can blame the officiating to a high extent. It's just we've had a few penalty shouts that probably should have gone our way. Trouble is, when you're not scoring, it's hard to get in the confidence to score. But I think once we do hit that goal, I don't think we'll stop scoring in terms of... I can see us averaging 2 or 3 goals a game this season if we're playing well. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a whole host of things. It could be anything and everything that's stopping us from scoring.
Do you think? Do you think it is a lack of confidence at the minute because we haven't scored any, or do you just think it's just? I mean, if you look at last night,
I think it's just we've had tough games. We've had tough games where I didn't expect us to score many goals. I expected us to score 1 or 2, but
for me, I think last night was bad luck.
Last night was
I don't
really
know, because
poor
the
luck.
header, I don't know how he said that, and Kennedy's crossbar strike.
Oh yeah.
Really good answer. I like that, Harley. It could be a mix, couldn't it? Next question is going to come to me. This is from Patrick Jackson. Oh, second place chasing you down in the competition. We've got a lot of people on the old league table.
They're trying to get my knowledge. That's what they're trying to do.
They're trying to nip your ear off, aren't they? Patrick has asked, when will positively trending performances turn into wins? What was your biggest plus from last night? Now, my answer to that, Patrick, is I think very soon. I think we made the point earlier that if you go from our opening League 2 match at Salford, I like to think there's been a 10% improvement game on game up until that point. And I think at the minute we obviously we take from last night's match and later on we're playing really well. Last night was a fabulous performance, a really enjoyable performance, and it just didn't go our way. I tend to find that again with teams that are playing poorly and losing, there's a massive problem there. Teams that are playing well and losing, there's still an issue, but those results are going to turn around if the team's playing well. I think actually we'll end August in good form. We've got some of those players back like Ben Kennedy, a few injuries coming back. I think Dean Parrott might even be fit this Saturday or for Macclesfield. So no, I think they will turn around very, very soon. But that is a big positive that we are playing well. If we weren't playing well, I'd have a real issue. But last night we were a fabulous performance. So I really do think the same, Patrick. We've got to give him time. What was your biggest plus from last night? The performance, I think, was a massive plus. That was the best performance of the season. I think
last night you can really just generalise it to being we just played a lot better.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest, I thought we were better than Bradford. Look at the stats. We will quickly read out these stats. 17 shots and 60% possession in Stevenage's favour last night, which is
that's unheard of for us. We're normally averaging 9 or 10 shots a game.
If you think the shots we've had from Salford to Leyton Orient, and then the shots last night, we've acclimatised that in the whole of one match, haven't we? Also, a massive plus, Ben Kennedy.
It was great. It's great to see Kennedy.
I'm going to throw it out there. I was ecstatic when he was coming on the pitch, and I actually see him before he come on. Dino said go and warm up and you're on, and he seen the number 10 Kennedy on the back of his shirt. I felt really, really happy that he came on. I was absolutely gutted when he left on loan last year in January, and it was great to see him on, and it was great to see him back to the old Ben Kennedy that he used to play like. So that would be a massive positive for me last night and a plus. Next question is coming from Craig Keenan. This is for you, Harley.
Sure.
Should Cowley be given a chance from the start to see what he can deliver? Yes and no. Yes, because I think it's better for them to start from the beginning of a game, because if you're coming on with just 10 minutes to go, you ain't going to get a chance to do a lot. And if we're already in a comfortable league, we're not going to try and press for goals. So I think give them a chance in the EFL Cup, whatever it's called now, the leasing.com trophy. Why do they change that? It's pointless, isn't it?
Just call it the
Football League trophy.
Football League trophy. It's just,
I don't know. It's all these marketing. But,
I think that would be a good chance for him to show what he can do, because it's against high level opposition.
I don't know what you think. I think he's looked decent when he's come on.
I do.
When he come on in the League Cup, and then it was Orient. He looked half decent, didn't he, Callie?
Yeah.
Would you look to bring him on more than start?
Yeah. This season, yes. I think next season will be a completely different story if he's still here, because I think next season he'll have a very, very good opportunity to press for a starting place. But I think we've got 3 or 4 players who can play up front. 3 of them guarantee starters every week, really, let's be honest, in terms of Taylor, Newton and Guthrie.
I completely agree. Yeah, really good question though from Craig, because
great question.
There's been talks about Carly, haven't there? Next question is for me, and this question's coming from the Borough Realist, and Borough Realist has asked: still hearing a lot of shout-outs for Dino not being the right man for the job. Given our ridiculous injury list, would any other manager within our reach be any better? Now, my answer to this, I find the Dino out comments, I've said this on last week's podcast, very ridiculous.
Oh, it's severely ridiculous.
It's don't get me wrong, I know that football's a results game and us supporters, we pay our money and therefore we want to see results. But I actually think Dino has done a really good job. He got us 1 point off the players. You can use Ilias Chair all you like. Dino was the man that brought him here. Ilias didn't turn up. He missed out in his first tenure at the club, 1 point off the plus, which is brilliant for our club. And this season, he's recruited unbelievably well. And I think with the players that we've had at the minute that are fit, I think he's actually done quite a good job with some of the performances we've had.
I think it's been very well managed given the situation. And
I completely agree.
we didn't have a left back for the game against Southend. Brings Luis Fernandez on. And look what's happened. Luis Fernandez is the best player we've got in the defence at the moment.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've got to be honest, I'm getting a bit sick and tired of these Dino out comments.
Yeah, I am as well.
It is annoying me.
You're all entitled to your opinion, and we're not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it after 3 or 4 games, then something's going wrong.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the other thing is that he's doing such a good job. Just cut the guy a break, for God's sake. He's doing my head in. It really is. Dino out. It is doing my absolute head in at the minute. Who could come in and do it better? It's difficult to answer. I mean, in my opinion, and I said this on the podcast many weeks ago, if Dino ever moved on, I think Mark Sampson or David Oldfield would take over, and I think that would be a very positive takeover. Yes. But me, give Dino a chance to just get to October or September and implement his game plan, for God's sake. Last 2 questions, because we have been going for about an hour. This is a question for you, Harley. Richie Rich, this is quite a funny question. Who will get our first league goal, and will it come from open play, a set piece, or a freak accident?
I think it could come from any of the 3. I think Guthrie, best shout for a goal, because I think time will come and I think he will win a penalty at some point. But saying that, Newton could be a good shot from open play.
Yeah.
Newton's got a good head on the ball.
Do you reckon it could come from a penalty?
Yeah.
If we get given one.
If we ever get given one. We're saying that Kennedy's back now, so free kicks wise.
Well, this is it now, set pieces.
Well, you look at, let's say, Kennedy's still the best goal I've seen at the Lamex. For a very long time was the free kick against Milton Keynes in the last minute to win it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Really good answer, really good question, Richie. Last question is from Wasp. And Wasp has asked, don't ask me about the name, but Wasp has asked, what do you think of the referee last night? Big Matt didn't sound happy. So I think he's referring to me.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I wasn't overly annoyed at the ref. I just thought there were a couple of decisions where it was a bit like, oh, come on, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was.
For example, Luis Fernandez has gone to clear the ball up the line. The ball's hit Clayton Donaldson on the back and he's gone down going, holding his head, and the referee's bought it. I'm like, he's hit him on the back, do you know what I mean? There were a few things with the referee last night that I was just like, come on, give us a fair crack at the whip, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But no, overly, it's one of these things with the referees, they are what they are. And I do believe the referee last night, it was his first Football League game. He'd come up from the conference, so there was a conference referee last night. But thanks, Will, for your question. No, thank you to all the fans that have sent in for the questions and answers. Feature. Really, really good questions there. Now, we have come to the end of the podcast.
Shame.
So
that's flown by.
I think we've done brilliantly, considering it's just me and you, mate. We've done over an hour. Thank you to everyone that's got involved with episode number 8 of the podcast. We are very sorry that a Harley and Farley Disagreement Corner wasn't on tonight. It will be back next week with an exciting debate.
Yes.
I think it will be really, really good next week. Hopefully we'll have Joe back and a couple of the others back. But no, thank you to all the listeners for getting involved. Thank you for your free word analyses and your questions and answers. It's been brilliant to get as many people involved as possible. Just before we go, this time next week we'd have played Mansfield. 3 points or 1 point?
1 point.
1 point. I'm going to go 3. I'm going to say 3 points. But no, we will be back this time next week with episode number 9. We'll be reviewing the result at Mansfield, and we'll be doing the build-up to our last match in August against Macclesfield. So it should be quite nice next week. Haven't got as many matches to cover as well. But thank you to all the listeners. Thanks to everyone. And I will leave the podcast on this note there. Hopefully, will be one of the Borough players coming on the podcast.
We won't be disclosing who.
Yeah, we're not disclosing who. It's still in the works, but we will be having one of the Borough players in the first team, who is in the first team at the minute, on the podcast over the next month. So there are some very exciting episodes coming up on the podcast. Once again, thanks to all the listeners. We will be back next week. I will be tweeting out the fixtures, along with a Q&A, free word analysis. Please get involved as much. And we are going to also be doing, starting next week, a fans corner. So we're going to be getting fans video calls in on what they think on the recent Borough matches. So that's something to look forward to as well. Once again, thanks to all listeners. You have been listening to the Stevenage Football Club podcast.